relate to you, and I had my only child when I was 38, and so I wonder if you could talk about how you balance ambition with motherhood when you're mid-career with a young child, and how motherhood has changed you, or changed sort of the way you saw yourself.
Two awesome questions. So the first thing I will say is I can say unequivocally that being a mom made me a better CEO, hands down. I am a better professional because I had my daughter. I wrote a blog about it for Fortune, I think, a couple years ago. Like 10 things that being a mom taught me. One of the first ones was negotiation. Everything is a negotiation. So you better learn how to negotiate, right? So trust me, you can look that up. If you just Google my name or whatever, it'll CEO, mom CEO, or how made you better, whatever. Absolutely, it made me better. It made me more tired. It made me fatter. It made me whatever, but it made me a better person. And I would never, I mean, it was the greatest gift ever was to have kids. What I will tell you is that that's where I learned my revised motto. I used to be the person who said, absolutely, women can have it all. Okay, I had to revise that motto once I had 2 kids. And the new motto became, you can have it all, but you can't have it at the same time. And so it really became about focus and prioritization. And so this was the beauty of having kids later for me. And I do encourage young women, if you have any aspiration to get to the top of an organization or really become a leader of impact in a big way, that you put the pedal to the metal for the first decade of your career and you just go as hard and as fast as you can in terms of growth and learning and development and skills and all of those things. Money, titles, whatever, are less important than actually getting the learning in. Because by the time I had my daughter, I already had so many experiences in the bank that it turned out my biggest job was yet to come. I got my biggest job when she was 2, right? And they knew I had 2 kids. And so and then I juggled it when she was 2 and I got a global job. I just brought her with me. If I had to travel I'd already lived in London, whenever I had to go visit the team in London, I would do it a midday trip. I would literally go in the morning. Yeah, I know. Same thing. I haven't packed a bag. I haven't checked a bag in 15 years, right? I just know how to save time when you travel. I wrote a blog about that too. So, it's like you got to do what you got to do, right? I always lived near a major airport, right? Because I cut down the commute time. I was not commuting an hour a day. No way. I lived close to the office, close to the airport. That's the way it worked if I had a global job. And then my husband got to say, and it has to be near the water, right? So we triangulated every move based on water, proximity to the sailboat, my office, and the airport. And then everybody who was childcare, whatever, had to fit in the same triangle, right? Like that was it. That was my one. So I think that you can have it all, not at the same time. So I went hard. I went fast. When my daughter was born, I actually stepped out for 16 months. Now, I say I stepped out or I retired or whatever the first time. I was only 39, but I wrote a book, opened a consulting business, and taught at university. So most people go, that's really not exactly what we thought about stepping out, right? But that's my version of stepping out. Then I went hard on with Kraft for 7 years, right? And ended up being very close to the CEO. And we used to call it dog years because we did more at Kraft. We went through every major corporate reorganization, restructuring, transaction, hostile takeover, like whatever, 3 activist investors, whatever, like we did more in 7 years than any company I think ever in terms of trying to transform and deal with difficult situations. So it was a hard 7 years. And then we decided, my husband picked Annapolis, and I had said he got the next choice because he had moved for me, so he got the next choice, picked Annapolis. There is nothing for me to do in Annapolis, Maryland. And so I the day, I said I was going to open a yoga studio. Yeah. I know. I got the same look. I was going to open a yoga studio. I love yoga. So he said, honey, if that's what you need to get through this next year, you just plan on that yoga studio. And I was going to step back, and I was going to be a Girl Scout troop leader, and I was going to get puppies, and this was my plan, right? This was my time to be a mom. Yeah, you're laughing. I did all that. I did everything with the yoga studio. I got 2 puppies. I became the Girl Scout troop leader. I was the class mom, whatever. And then I opened 3 businesses and sat on 2 boards also. But they were all outside of Annapolis. So I would be gone completely 3 or 4 days a week in LA, Chicago, London, wherever I had to be. And then I would be home in my Lululemon sweats and whatever, 3 or 4 days a week. And that's how I balanced my life. So don't use the word balance. I integrate it. So I think you can have it all. I think you gotta know what's your priority at different points. And at different points, it's been my career or my daughter or my book or my, whatever it was. And I think you need to recognize you can never do more than 3 things really well at one time. So everything else, there's a reason I was laughing on the way here that, I hadn't had time for a pedicure and I hadn't had time for there's a bunch, I don't get my hair done. There's a bunch of things that I don't spend time on because I just don't have time. And if you're going to judge me for my, lack of amazing wardrobe and my, beautiful makeup and whatever, then you're not my people anyway, because that's not how I add value in the world, in my opinion. It doesn't mean anybody who does that is wrong. It means for me, what I prioritize every day is not that. And so I don't know whether that helps, but that's how I do it.